Yo, this is E.G. Fisker, guy, bringing you guys a little video. And this video is about how we do myself. I gotta speak for myself. I can't speak for nobody else. But on how I used to find myself with these feelings, feelings within yourself you try to hold down. And I resort to drugs. I resort to alcohol. I resort to a cigarette. I would resort to something that pretty much would kind of drain me in a sense. And I never faced my feelings. That was my problem. And every time I ran away from my feelings, it got worse. I found myself in a deep hole. So me using this shit as a crutch ain't good, By you facing your feelings, facing what you gotta face, that's the most strongest thing you can do in that moment is to feel it rather than run away. Because when you run away from shit, you're repressing those emotions and they're only building to be bigger and deeper. Like for instance, a heartbreak. Every time I feel this heartbreak in my heart, I'm going to go smoke. I'm going to try to have sex with any girl. I'm going to drink. I'm going to pop pills. I'm repressing my emotions. And I'm not going to be able to go past those emotions because I'm saving them for later. And I was doing this for a long time. And I didn't know what the fuck was going on really, but I did. I was running away from myself. And every time I run away from myself, shit happens. I go off the end of losing myself. Whenever I run away from my feelings, I'm never really that good in the mind. But when I face my feelings, I gotta deal with it. I cry, I gotta do what I do, and I'm always come on top. But it's when I run away from my feelings is when the shit hits the fan. It's never good to run away from things that you have to face. And that's for anything. It's really not good to use alcohol or drugs when it comes to this type of stuff. Because it makes us repress our emotions more. It's really not good to do that. You know what I'm saying? I do that. I was doing that here. I'm in California. Every time I woke up and I felt this way, I would go to the dispensary. And my whole day will be shifted. Yeah, I don't feel those emotions that made me run. But they will hit me in the morning. I'm like, oh shit, I feel this way again. So I'll go do it again. And it got to a point where I got out of sync with my true feelings. And I'm not feeling how I really should. I'm feeling on how I think I should feel. And that ain't the real way to feel. I was running away from myself. But when I go through these emotions, yeah, they're deep. Yeah, they might hurt. But we have to go through these moments because, it's a challenge. We're going to have much more challenges in life. And if we keep running away from them, we're not taking our life by our own hands. We're letting these drugs, the alcohol, these little outside sources that only temporarily make us fulfilled. But the only way to be fulfilled, we have to, go through the shit that kind of makes us scared in life. We have to go through that shit. And I noticed when I went on this little journey months ago, I didn't run away from whatever the fuck I was in. I went through it, and it was a big reward waiting on me at the end. So the more you face yourself, the more you go within and look at the shit that, look at the shit that makes you run away, you get stronger. You gain so many points. You become more you, and you're able to feel more because you got those feelings out the way, You don't want to resonate in that shit too long, though. You know what I'm saying? If you're heartbroken, and you're still heartbroken as if it's whatever, it's okay, it's time to get out of that phase, you know what I mean? But we gotta go through them. You have to literally learn why. You gotta learn why, we go through this shit, You have to face it. And I know that now, I don't run away from my shit. I gotta go within and I face it, you know what I mean? But that's just a little tip, not to really run away from those feelings. Because it's so easy to run away and do something outside of ourselves rather than look what's bothering us. Once we look what's bothering us, we have a solution to it. The solution isn't outside. The solution is inside of us. So once we look at the solution, and we see the problem and we love it for what it is, we're able to really go forth in life and expand our truth. But it's when we're locked onto the emotion and we run away from it. We're not able to just look at it for what it is. And we're not able to see why we feel that way. And then when we're blaming, you know, like I catch myself, like I feel this way because this so-and-so. No, so-and-so is not putting a gun to my head. So-and-so is so-and-so. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling this way because of me. You know? Pick yourself up. Pick yourself up out the mud. I found myself in the mud a few times. It's like, okay, buddy, I'm in the mud. I'm aware I'm in the mud, right? But sometimes I never got up. I never got out the mud. So I stuck my ass in the mud feeling like I'm in the mud, but I'm like, wait a minute. As long as you recognize you're in the mud, get out the fucking mud. You don't have to stay in the mud all day, you know? And that's when it comes to these lower emotions of like guilt, whatever the emotions we have in ourselves that we have to go achieve and go beyond them. We have to face those emotions, love them for what they are, and we have to move on. That's a part of shadow work. Like, as a spiritual being on this experience, if I didn't go within and look at what's bothering me, I'd be dead. I'd be dead right now, because there's a lot of times where, you know, you want to take an upper to forget your fucking pain, or you want to do some fuck shit towards yourself, not towards anybody else, but you're just trying to run away from the shit that's bothering you. Nah, it don't get you nowhere. It only gets you more lost in the sauce, you know? And sometimes we gotta suffer in silence rather than doing that, than doing this shit. Like, I would rather feel this shit rather than react to it by me doing drugs. Because I had to learn the reason why I was doing these drugs and shit was because I had something I was running away from. It wasn't like it was fun to me. I was doing that shit because I had issues within me I didn't solve from facing it. You know, and it does happen sometimes. You know, you do find yourself coping with drugs to like get you through shit. And I'm thinking like, I need this shit. I low-key didn't. Like, the drugs hinder my light in the sense of like making me a little bit lazy, making me a little delusional, you know? Not even like delusional, but you know, it alters my state of consciousness to the where it's not natural and pure. And I don't like feeling that all the time, because like sometimes you want to be sober. You do not want to be high all day. Just because like that low-key fucks up your pattern and shit. You know what I'm saying? Your aura is way more open when you're high on drugs. When you're around people on drugs, it low-key could do something to you. So it's like, use drugs as a sacred thing. And I learned that. Like, not to just use drugs because I'm feeling sad, you know? Like, I learned that. And that was a hard thing to learn, because, like, when you ain't got nobody telling you this shit, and when you're not even trying to listen to your higher self, you're going to be broke. You're going to be broke as fuck. I see you, though, Auntie. You're going to be broke as fuck trying to fix your emotions. You're going to be broke as fuck. And I learned that. Like, I can't fix my emotions with money. I can't fix my emotions with drugs. I can't fix my emotions. I have to fix my emotions by going within and facing them. Like, and I always do that, but it's like sometimes it get hard. It do, because it's like, fuck. Like, man, they're deep. They're deep. Like, emotions, feelings, they're deep. Especially, like, when it gets regards to, like, relationships and shit. Like, man, they're deep. But the best way to go through them is by, like, going through them head on. Like, okay, this is what we gonna do, you know? Not to run away. Because when we don't run away, we actually get so much strength to achieve anything in life, you know? Or we achieve a lot of things when we face ourselves, and I'm learning that right now. And I'm facing myself with integrity, seeing what I gotta do, and I gotta do it. Like, rather than, like, trying to run away from it, doing other shit. Like, I'm facing myself head on. You know, but that's the whole key with life, is to, like, you know, get it done. Get it done. Just don't run away from yourself. Like, that's just my experience on, like, on how, like, these outside things that we use, low key, could be from us running away from ourselves, or it could be how you do it. But, like, I know from my experience, there was a lot of things I was running away from, just because the depth of feeling was too deep. Like, why the fuck would I want to feel that? That's what I'm thinking. That's what my ego says. Like, who the fuck wants to feel that shit? But there's a reason to all this madness. But yo, that's just E.G. Pritzker guy, and I'm out. Peace, and I'm going to tell you, you know? Straight up.